Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Ryan Hall, Athletic Director here at Mayville State University. Today we have our head men's basketball coach, Coach Ty. Thanks for coming today, and excited for the season to get going.
Yeah, us too. It's coming fast.
Yeah, this weekend. Coach, we're just going to dive right into it if you don't mind. Obviously coming off of tournament championship last year, which was, one heck of a run, obviously. So the buzz is around the team, obviously, and around the community. How's the energy been, to start? You guys been at it with practice now for a few weeks. How's the energy? How's practice been going?
It's been going pretty good. Energy's been good with the mix of the returning guys and the new guys, and we're split about half and half, which I think is a good thing in that we've got some new guys in that are hungry.
Good.
That they're not sitting on their morals or anything like that. They're coming out to prove themselves with things. But at the same time, then we have this returning group that's kind of seeing a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Some of those guys that were here a couple of years ago and we kind of struggled a little bit, and then guys that were here last year that got to see what what hard work and what playing together can lead to potentially if you do it the right way. So, all in all, we've got a lot to work on. by no means are we a finished product, but
Right.
we like the direction we're headed in right now.
Yeah. Well, you kick off this weekend, right? Got Saturday and Sunday.
Correct.
So 8 o'clock and 3 o'clock, I believe those games are.
Yep.
How excited is the staff and the guys to, all right, guys, now it counts, right? With that right around the corner this weekend.
Well, I think you'd ask any coach, they'd still say you need like 3 more weeks of practice before the game's on. You ask any player, they were ready to play a game like 3 weeks ago.
Absolutely.
I think it'll be a really good thing just to play somebody else other than ourselves right now. Our games and things that we had a blue and white scrimmage the other day just amongst ourselves, and it's good and they're competitive, but at the same time, you're playing 7 guys against 8.
Yeah.
So some guys are playing 35, 33 minutes in a 40-minute scrimmage, and it's hard to really tell. 1, are we in shape? 2, are we playing hard? Or 3, are you just gassed? So it'll be good just to be all on the same team.
Yeah.
And then be able to play some, because our motto is, if you can give us 1 minute, give us 1 minute. If you can give us two, whatever it is, but whatever it is, you have to be just going as hard as you possibly can that whole time. And then, I think one of our biggest strengths this year will be our depth. I could see us playing 12 guys
Wow.
every night. So, again, there's no reason to not be giving 100% effort each time.
Coach, you mentioned your blue and white scrimmage. What were, give me 1 or 2 things that you got out of that scrimmage that you felt were really good, and then 1 or 2 things. Obviously, as you said, beginning of the year, that it's a work in progress, a lot you need to work on. But what were the glaring positives, and then, if you will, the glaring things you need to improve upon at this point in the season based off that scrimmage?
Yeah, I think the big things improvement-wise are just our execution, our attention to detail. Looking at it, whether you're a returning guy or you're a new guy, there's some things we're doing differently this year than we did last year, which kind of puts everybody on an even playing field. And we do some different things defensively that what other teams do that if you've been from a different program are kind of old habits to break or new habits to learn. We're never going to be maybe the most athletic group, most biggest group, anything like that. So we're very dependent on 5 guys playing defense on there. So if we have 1 guy that isn't executing properly the system or the scheme, makes everybody look bad and we give up baskets that way. So that's something we got to improve on. Things that went really well is we're shooting it really well.
Awesome.
We're shooting it much better than we did last year at this time. It was around this time that we actually brought in one of my buddies to come help as the shooting guru, as we said, to kind of come in and help, and we still might do that, but right now we're shooting it pretty well, and I really like how we're sharing the basketball. Early, sometimes shot selection is a skill that has to be learned, and we have a few here and there like everybody else does, but I've been pretty pleased with that. And as far as like effort plays, like diving on the floor, taking charges, and that, we've been really good with that. So those are good foundation pieces to build upon.
Coach, you mentioned the mix and match of returners and new guys, and you said it's a good balance with a lot of depth. Who are some of the new guys that you feel will be an immediate impact as far as minutes and being a key piece, throughout the season that you've been really impressed with so far?
I really think it could be any of them. I really do. I think everything is pretty wide open at this point.
Okay.
We have our two leading scorers back, George and Dan, who are playing really well at this time. And then I think if you could basically it's a 50-50 race kind of for everybody else right now. And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's playing pretty well at this point in time. Guys are learning new positions as kind of we tweak some things here and there. The one person that's kind of stood out, so far, I would say, is Jesus Martinez.
Okay.
Garrick Droog was a senior post player for us last year, and Garrick was a captain and very, very good defensively, very good on the help side, and that was a huge loss for us.
Mm-hmm.
And Jesus comes in and as a sophomore, has got 3 years left to play for us, which is great.
Awesome.
But he has some things that you just can't teach. He's got an 8'10" standing reach. He's got a 28-inch vertical. He can block shots and he can alter shots like probably we haven't seen here in a very, very long time.
That's awesome.
Now he's got some things to work on, obviously, and doing some things like that. But I think the one scrimmage we looked at, he had 6 block shots and
Wow.
3 altered shots, and that's huge for in our scheme of system of what we try and do. Our 5-man is our anchor of our defense. So.
And where's Jesus from, Coach?
Jesus is from Trinidad State in Colorado.
Okay.
Community
Awesome.
college over there, and originally from Mexico.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. And what about, you mentioned your 2 leading scorers last year. Like I said, coming off unbelievable finish to last season. That was great. I'm sure those guys are really setting the bar and setting the expectation. Can you chime in on those guys or maybe some other returners that you feel that have really just set the tone, provided good leadership, and really, not just leadership with the mouth, but also by their actions? Who would you say?
Yeah, George Alhag and Dan Lindgren both. I think they were both right at 13.9 points a game last year and coming back, and they've improved some stuff in their game, which is great. But I really like how much more vocal they are this year. They're comfortable. They know what's expected. They know what they have to do, and they're both more quiet off the court. But it's nice to see them be a little louder on the court. And that's the thing. I've been very, very happy with those two on there. Michael Slava started the majority of the games last year at point guard, very vocal, plays hard, good defensively. Demarco Green was another point guard for us that's coming back this year. He went back to California over the summer, and you never quite know how that's going to work when guys go home and things like that, but he came in great shape, and another one that's really kind of gotten a grasp of what we want to do here.
Awesome.
And go. Jack Turnbull was a player that came with me from Ridgewater College and was a 2-year starter, 2-year all-conference player at Ridgewater. Didn't play a whole lot last year, and he came in the 4 years that I've known in phenomenal shape. And he's worked himself into, as of right now, into some playing time and things. And we always knew he was a great leader. We always knew he was a great teammate and all that, but now he's kind of stepped up in some different pieces of his game that's pretty exciting. And Eric Stabler started about half the games for us last year at the 5 position. He's transitioning a little bit now to playing a little bit on the perimeter as well as a little bit inside. Hard work is never an issue with Eric. He goes home to Morrison. You don't have to worry about a thing because he's just going to work his can off with everything. And he's going to prove to be a mismatch on the offensive end, playing out on the perimeter a little bit just with his size and things. And he has improved his shot a little bit too. So all those returning guys, I think, did their jobs this summer, and we're pretty pleased with that.
Coach, it sounds like you guys have a lot of depth, which, you mentioned it from a competitive level. How much does that, not the practice, is bad beforehand or anything like that, but, you mentioned, like, it's pretty wide open, just, as far as starters and what kind of rotation you go with. How much has that competitive level and that depth provided for, solid practices as you get going?
I don't think we'll really see the benefits of that until a couple months down the road here.
Okay.
It's just like anything else. Like I said, it's nothing for us to be upset about, but we have guys that are still learning, at learning how to play hard, learning how to talk, learning scheme and system, and, one guy screws it up, the whole thing looks really bad, and that's just how it is.
Yeah.
There's no sugar, or how do you say that, no way to sugarcoat it.
Right,
it is
right.
That way. I think once everybody gets comfortable with what they're supposed to do, learns how to play hard, not take possessions off, all the time, learns how to communicate with everything like that, Then I think when we get into the Novembers, the Decembers, the Januaries, we'll really see that depth and that competitiveness really come out. But right now we're still learning. I mean, we just are. And like I said, with even having some of the new things defensively, what we're trying to do, and a few new tweaks on offense, there's some new things for everybody that we're still trying to pick up. So I think down the road it'll be really nice. But
Awesome.
right now it's
Still a work in progress.
Still a little ugly yet.
Well, like I said, obviously last year you were you figured it out and you got hot and had a great run right at the right time, right? Long season gets kicked off this weekend with Providence out of Canada, right?
Mm-hmm.
What can you tell us a little bit about the season opener this Saturday? Providence Saturday and Sunday doubleheader. I know it's early in the week right now, but I'm sure you and your staff have been diving in and getting ready for this game. What can we expect to see both from our end and then what to kind of look out for on their end as they come into Louisville?
Well, the interesting thing with all the schools in Canada, and then after this weekend we go to Canada, we go to Winnipeg and we play the University of Winnipeg in Manitoba.
Okay.
And the interesting thing about those schools is they start practice even earlier than we do. I mean,
Wow.
they're in August and September, and I think Providence will have 6 or 7 games in by the time they come and play us.
Really?
And in Manitoba and Winnipeg will be the same way. So I mean, they're going to be. They've figured some stuff out already, but we're still trying to figure some things out. They play FIBA rules on there, so they play a lot faster. They get shots up really fast, and the one thing with Providence, we got a chance to watch a couple of their games early, is you got to get your butt down and you got to get in your stance and you got to guard, because they are going to go 1,000 miles an hour and they're going to make some mistakes and they're going to play fast and live with some turnovers and some bad shots, but. If you think you're just going to come back and just kind of lazily play defense, you are sadly mistaken, because they are going to go right by you, and they love to shoot a bunch of threes, and they get them up because they play a lot of those possessions on there. So it'll be a good challenge for us, and it's good games to start with, and then once we hit after this weekend and we go play Winnipeg and Manitoba, I mean, those are going to be extremely tough games.
Yeah.
Extremely tough, because with their scholarship situation and everything, they're pretty comparable to what either NAI Division I or Division II,
Wow.
four-year NCAA Division II would be like.
Okay.
And they can have fifth-year kids. Kids go to school for 5 years up there, so they have some older guys and everything. So our schedule is super tough.
Yeah.
Just like last year, it's very, very tough again. So we'll see.
Well, proved awesome for last year, and Coach, excited. Season is definitely here. Mayville community this weekend. 8 o'clock start on Saturday, 3 o'clock start on Sunday. We got doubleheaders, men and women's basketball. Coach, is there anything else you'd like to say to the community as you get going here for the season?
Thinking back to last year a little bit, the community support we received going in the conference tournament and the national tournament was second to none.
Awesome.
It was fantastic, and hopefully we can build upon that over the course of the year. And there's going to be some learning problems and learning processes with us here throughout the season, but hopefully just like last year we can be playing our best basketball at the end of the year, and then we'll just kind of see what happens from there. But we really appreciate your support. I know our kids really, really appreciate everything there, and it's always nice to have that home court advantage when we're here.
Absolutely. Well, I don't expect any less other than the Mayville Maniacs to be in full effect as we start the season this weekend for men's basketball and women's basketball. Men, again, 8 o'clock Saturday, season opener, and then back at it on Sunday at 3 o'clock, both here in the Louis Lee Fieldhouse. So if you don't have plans or if you can get out for one of the games, if not both, please do. Come support Coach Ty and the men's basketball team as they look to defend their conference title. Coach, thanks so much, and good luck this weekend.
Appreciate it. Thank you.